Hi, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about what matters in an early stage evaluation. Okay, so before I start this, let me give you an example of Biogen or Amgen. Let's say I'm valuing these companies. The good thing about these companies is that they have historical track record. So I can go back and see what's their margin, what has been their revenue growth, and so on. That gives me enough ammunition to start working on an Excel model. I try to project the cash flows and so on. And my valuation could be XYZ, for example. Okay. However, in early stage valuations in biotech space, for example, okay, you don't have any historical record. Maybe the mechanism of action is new, for example. Okay. So in this, you have two ways. So keep getting several valuations of my client and by several banks in an Excel model. Okay. Now, in that Excel model, you could argue that, okay, my market share could be maximum 30% in year 5. Okay. And you give the reason that, we'll start small, 1%, and I'll reach 30%, right? But I could argue that if you change those numbers, your value could fluctuate very high. So how do you actually justify? First of all, there is no right valuation, right? But how can you justify to the investors or even to the pharmaceutical company about that particular value range that you want to talk about? I think one of the most important thing in an early stage valuation is the right narrative. Why right narrative? Because you do not have any historical data. Okay, so how are you going to make the right narrative? So instead of saying that I'm going to start with 1% and reach 20% as an assumption, I would rather argue that my current competition, okay, have certain safety issues. Our drug is very safe, which we have demonstrated by using XYZ. The patient response rate in my comparison is like, let's say 10%, only 10% of the patient responds. I still have 90% of that particular patient to target. Of course, all the 90% will not respond to my drug, but I expect, 20 to 30%, to respond. Okay. Or I have a competition that's is at advanced stage of the clinical trials and their results failed. So based on these particular arguments, we believe that it's very reasonable to reach 30% market share, right? So this is what it matters that can convince or at least give a reasonable basis for your valuation, right? Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.